kids sleds. Right now in our industry, you're pretty much limited to a 120 or the new timber sled Ripper. But besides that, you're kind of out of luck if you want to buy a sled that's bigger than a 120 but smaller than a full size. So what's the answer?
Well, for this week's episode, we're going to show you a very viable answer to getting your kids a mid-sized sled that'll progress them through their riding abilities, but still keep them within the safe limits for both size and engine displacement. However, with our current Ski-Doo Freestyle barn find, we may be needing a few tweaks to bring it back up to par and keep it going all season strong.
The Ski-Doo Freestyle was a relatively short-lived sled, but the truth is it was the perfect answer to the mid-size problem. So why didn't it stick around?
Well, truth be told, the production cost of the sled was still relatively high for the limited market it had to serve.
But nowadays you can pick up a Freestyle for a reasonable buck. Sure, it may look a little rough around the edges, but parts are still readily available for this sled, and it's not hard to bring it back to its original glory, and also add some cool upgrades along the way. Now, Vern and I have traveled a lot of places together, but we've never actually done a build. My kids, yeah, they're a little bit too small for this Freestyle. But your kids?
Just perfect, especially my older daughter, Kaylee. She's 12, she's legal to be riding on the trail, and this Freestyle is going to be a perfect sled for her.
One of the first areas of concern on a sled this vintage is the track and suspension. Seeing as we have the skid frame on the bench, let's start by pulling the old stock shocks and replacing them with some brand new RideFX 9200 series aluminum body monotube dampers. These shocks will not only improve the ride quality, but are fully serviceable, so years down the road, should you desire a rebuild, they can be freshened up. While we have the skid on the bench, it's also a good time to remove the old worn-out sliders for a new pair. While there is still some life in these stalkers, it doesn't cost much to do this and will ensure that we don't have to re-pull the skid anytime soon. The stock track on a Freestyle, yeah, it's really nothing to write home about. And while Vern is going to owe me for this next task, it's really not that hard on a Freestyle. And swapping the track is what I'm referring to. The process is fairly simple no matter what sled you're working on. Chain case comes apart and the lower gear is removed. It's now a good time to inspect your chain for wear. But this one looks pretty good. On the opposite side, the axle support must be removed, and then it's out with the axle and track and back in with a brand new Camso Ice Attack pre-studded 1.2-inch lug track. This will increase the Freestyle's ability in all snow conditions, especially icy, and help when Vern's kids want to do a little free riding with the Freestyle. Now, it wouldn't exactly be right for us to give all this attention to the rear of the sled and not pay some attention to the front end.
And that's exactly what we're going to do with the front end overhaul.
Bushings and bearings get worn, so instead of just replacing those, we opted to replace the A-arms with those found on the 08 Freestyle backcountry. It adds extra width to the sled, which increases stability for kids and also makes it handle much better in the corners. Along with the arms, we're installing matching IFS shocks to the rear skid, RideFX 9200 series. These will increase the bump absorption ability for the Freestyle and truly maximize the extra leverage on the front suspension that it now has over the shocks. And hey, they do look pretty nice too. And finally up front, we're going to ditch the old composite skis. We're going to go for a new plastic ski that's more modernized, as well as a new carbide runner.
And Ski-Doo's 5.7 ski is the perfect ski, and we'll be matching that up with Woody's 4-inch dually carbide runner.
Because the front end of the Freestyle is so light and the added studs in the track will cause more push, the extra grip of a dually and the better ski profile will really help a younger rider to feel in control and not experience too much push. When we add the nice white Ski-Doo matching ski hoops and rivet studs, we have a complete front end package. But to truly call this build complete, we need to ensure we have a proper revitalization, and we would be amiss if we didn't make a call to our buddy at Mario Design and have a new set of graphics made up. And we dubbed this build the Freestyle X. It suits the upgraded nature of the vehicle, and it looks great. We took this build just a few steps farther than you may need to, but it's to show you that there are lots of options out there to bring an old sled up to new kid standards.
And you know what? With a simple phone call to your dealer, you can get all the parts and accessories to bring an old gal like this back to its glory.
Yeah, your kids are gonna freak.
Oh yeah.
If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more content from SnowTracks TV, click the like button and subscribe to the SnowTracks TV YouTube channel.